welcome to my channel. We have some sewing to do for the Smart Dolls today, or at least I'm going to start on it. So yeah, I definitely need to sew for these girls. They have some clothing, not a ton, and I have this dress which is kind of like halfway done, but I'm going to kind of stop there and finish that later because I wanted to get started on a new project. And that is this fun pattern that was given to me by Moda-Vation. Got a website. She's also got various Instagram, etc. social media links down there on this. She asked me what I wanted out of her shop, and I picked this. It's a beginner set for smart dolls. It includes patterns and actually also a tutorial. And I should also point out as I'm saying that my video is not a tutorial. I'm just going to show you my creative process as I work on this particular pattern. And I'm not even going to do the whole pattern because she's got a lot in here. She has a couple of different headbands. She has a couple of different tops. I mean, it's basically the same top but in different sizes because some people like to have a bigger top on their smart dolls. I like the smaller busted gals. I would even like them a little smaller than these gals if they ever made those. But she has different sizes in the tops, and then she also shows you how to put like an applique on there, and then she has two different techniques for the skirt. And if you've watched any of my previous sewing videos, you know that I did make a skirt for this doll here. I made a gathered skirt with just elastic in it. So it was really rudimentary. This is a little bit more sophisticated as far as the technique. And she also has a waistband instead of elastic. There's actually a finished band, which I like the look of. And I mainly work with cotton, so that's why I'm going to go with a little cotton skirt today as I start this up. And this is a pretty involved tutorial. She has, I think the thing was like 30 pages long when I printed it out, which I knew that before I printed it. I just wanted to make sure I really understood the instructions and everything. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I think I'm going to use this fabric. I think it would look really good with both of these dolls, which is interesting because, I mean, obviously she has a much darker complexion than this one. This is a resilient and tea tone, and this is beyond in the cocoa tone, skin tone. But I think they both would look good in this color. And I have a mustard colored top coming from Elite Doll World, which would probably look cute with this. So I'm going to go ahead and use this really cool sort of a batik fabric. And I think I'm going to make, like I said, the skirt. She has two different techniques. I'm going to do one that has you kind of make a circle versus a rectangle. Let me go ahead and cut out the pattern that's included in this and pin it on the fabric, and I'll show you at that point what I'm doing next. All right, I have my fabric placed on my ironing board, which I use my ironing board to do all kinds of stuff other than ironing. And I have pieced the pattern pieces together and cutting them out now. So I'll end up with a really swirly looking skirt panel here in a few minutes. Yeah, this is a very different structure than I've done in the past for making skirts, so I'm interested to see how it turns out. Hold on, and I will show you the next step. All right, I've cut out the circular piece that's going to be the skirt, and I'm using batik, so it's kind of hard to tell what's the front and back, because batik tends to kind of be the same. I think this side is a little bit brighter. And then she has you use a little bit of light interfacing for the waist part. This is going to go around the waist of the skirt when I put it together. And yeah, it's a very large piece. I don't know how much the actual yardage is that you would need, but she does tell you you can cut it and seam it if you want. I just happen to have a big piece of this, so I had plenty of this fabric to use. Now I need to pick out some thread, and yeah, I'm kind of not sure about the thread color. I guess I should have thought about that before I got into this. This is way too yellow. This is a possibility. I might just need to go khaki colored, like a off. That would be so-so. I think the darker see what else. Do I have something that's open? Here's one that's open. Yeah, I might just go with this neutral. Let me see. This is a little darker. Yeah, I might go with this darker neutral. This is sort of a taupe colored. I don't know. It doesn't have the... They don't tell you the color on the actual... Well, there's a number. I guess if I really wanted... Wait a minute. What? Yep, it says taupe. No, it says... Yeah, it says taupe. Okay, so taupe. All right, going with taupe thread. All right, so let me get my... sewing machine threaded and ready to go. I believe the next thing I'm going to do is, she has you zigzag all around the edges, which is good. I'm a zigzagger too, so I will do that and get back with you guys. Alright, I'm just coming back to show you that the taupe thread worked well. I zigzagged all the way around the bottom and the side edges here. And the next step is to do a gathering stitch. Basically, you baste stitch, which is like really wide stitches. So she has you do 2 of those. So I'm going to do a couple of the basting stitches up at the top, and then, you know, I'll leave really long threads so that I can pull them and gather them when it comes to that point. But yeah, so far so good. Seems like a lot of skirt here, but they are big dolls, much bigger than the Blythe dolls that I'm used to sewing for. Alright, I have my iron warming up here. At this point, let's see, I've done the double basting stitch at the end. Before I put on the waistband, I'll pull on these really long strings and gather this up. She did something interesting where she has you stitch the sides, fold them over, press, and then do like a top stitching there. So that's kind of neat. I'll have to try that with some other doll clothes that I make. I started to just go ahead and hem this all around, thinking I could do it on the fly. And I started okay, but then it just started getting bigger and bigger and weird on me, because this is a real big, it's very circular. Got my iron warming up. I'm going to press the hem. You can see I've already got the zigzag on, so that's finishing the edges. So I just need to fold it over. This is about 1/4 of an inch or so. I just want to make sure that it's this pretty much the same size as I go all the way around and hem it. And as I was trying to just do it, eyeball it on my machine without pressing it first, I was like realizing it wasn't turning out like I thought it would. So I'm going to do the pressing, which is something I should have done. It's a step I was skipping. So I'm going to press it, and then I'm going to top stitch it all the way around here. Now, I will say, let me just say, I am following her instructions, but I'm also kind of changing things a little bit on my own. So this is, again, not a tutorial for this pattern. This is me doing the pattern how I typically sew. Bringing you along on the journey. Alright, so I'm at the point in the instructions where she has you gather the skirt. Right before that, I did go ahead and stitch the hem. She has you do the hem a little bit differently than I normally do. I just, because I had zigzagged it, I just folded it over about 1/4 of an inch. I pressed it, like I said, that made a big difference. I pressed it and added a few pins to help guide it so it was more even as I went ahead and stitched it. So this is the bottom part of it, and this is the top, which is kind of hard to see because, like I said, I'm using batik fabric, so there's really, you know, not necessarily a front and back to most batik fabrics. And yeah, I gathered them all up. And at this point, she's going to have me add the waistband on. So I have to do a lot of pinning and just really take my time. Right now is a crucial point in the sewing. And you want to make sure that you really just take your time and make sure the gathers are as even as possible. So that's something I struggle with it. I think a lot of seamstresses do that as well. So basically I'm just going to pin right sides together and pin all the way around, and I'll be back to show you what I do next. Alright, I've got pins all around the top, and I am going to stitch around the top. I'm hoping I can take off the little adapter I have on my machine. Let me go over here real quick. I'm hoping this is going to be narrow enough that I can fit it on here. We'll see. If it doesn't, then, you know, that's okay. I can adjust to my sewing if I can't get it over here, I can figure it out. But this is one of the things I like about my Singer Quantum is this, this piece here pulls out. And so if you want to do things like stitch a sleeve or something small, some of the small stuff fits on here. Not everything, because of course I'm sewing for dolls, so you're talking extra small. So yeah, let me go ahead and stitch on the waistband. So cool beans, I was able to fit it on here. And I decided I'm going to baste on the waistband first to just make sure that I like it. That's something I'll do sometimes if I'm not 100% sure how something's going to look. I'll baste stitch it, and then that way I can pull out the stitches because they're so super big if I goof something up. So I'm going to baste it first, see if I like it. If it works okay, then I'll go back and do a regular size stitch, not the big fat basting stitch. So, but yeah, it fit on here, and this is going to make it much easier to sew on the band. All right, I stitched part of the waistband on, and I think I goofed a little bit when I was doing the gather stitches. I think this is bigger. This, like my seam allowance here is bigger than necessary, because so this was folded in half, and what do you call it? I folded it in half and pressed it, and you can see that's the halfway mark. But when I turn this over now, this is kind of not in the right place. So it still fits though. I mean, it's still like it's working very, very nicely. That's going to be a very cute little skirt. And I think you can see at this point, basically I have to fold this over and top stitch it, and then, you know, put on some snaps, and basically I'll be done. So yeah, so I'm not sure if I don't know. I'm going to press it a little bit and see what I think to get rid of that little line there. And I don't know, she doesn't tell you to do this, but I might trim off. Hopefully I won't regret it. But I'm thinking of trimming some of this off at the top, like right here, so that it won't be so bulky when I turn this over. I don't really think it matters, but I don't know. For me, I think it might look better. Like I said, because I goofed up on the seam allowance a little bit, and I do need to pull out the basting stitch that I didn't quite cover when I put this on. But anyway, those are all my boo-boos for you to judge me on. But you can see how cute this skirt is. Adorable. I love how full it is. I have to say I was kind of concerned because I was like, wow, there's a lot of fabric here for a doll skirt. But now that it's almost done, I mean, look how adorable that is. And that's going to be so cute on one of my dolls. I just have to figure out who it's going to be. So wait till the end of the video. I don't know if it's going to be Beyond wearing this or if it's going to be Resilient wearing this. But one of those two dolls is going to model this after I finish it. Please stick around to the end of the video so you can see who it is. So, are you ready for the big reveal? Alright, just to make sure you remember, this is the original pattern that I used from Moda-Vations. She sent it to me for free to let me try out here on my channel. And Alright, we have Resilient wearing it with this. This shirt now is from Elite Doll World. I don't think it's a perfect match, but it's not too bad, considering I bought it not thinking I was going to make this skirt. And I really like how the skirt came out. It's very full and cute, really flirty, adorable. She needs some cute sandals to go with it. But yeah, I think I really like how this turned out. I do like the fuller skirt. Like I said, I have a tutorial on an elastic waist skirt, but I like how this is finished up at the top. And it's a much fuller, flirtier kind of look. So yeah, very, very cute. Super happy with how it turned out. Thank you guys for stopping by and doing a little dolly sewing with me. I always appreciate a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed, hit the bell icon, and have a wonderful dolly day. Bye-bye.